Our top story today from the GatewayPundit.com, DOJ deputy chief says government will redact every Republican while leaving all Democrat people on Epstein client list. We're talking about this new development and so much more here at the Gateway Pundits Week in Review. My name's Elijah Schaffer, and this is the Gateway Pundits Week in Review, where we cover the top stories of the last 24 hours. Our top story today is about OMG and the DOJ, but first, a quick update. Hegseth also savagely fired a she-her Navy commander and medical director for, quote, transgender healthcare at a naval center in California. Things are heating up. Christina Lila reports. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth savagely fired Janelle Mara, a she-her pronoun DEI Navy commander and medical director for transgender healthcare at a naval center in California. Navy Commander Janelle Mara, a native of Massachusetts, began her naval service by the Health Professions Scholarship Program in 2004, her bio read. Now she is currently serving as a senior medical officer over the medical clinics on MCRD-SD, the Deputy Medical Director of Transgender Care for the Navy, and the Director of Medical Services for the Expeditionary Medical Facility Bravo, Mara's bio said. Okay, so this is the problem with this transgender stuff. I understand the libertarian, you need to have freedom, autonomy, right? Unless, of course, talking about COVID vaccines, because then you don't have medical autonomy there. And just like women have the right to choose, but if you choose to stay home with your kids, then you're not a real woman. I know how this works. It's kind of crazy. It's like, this is why, it's like, well, I just want transgenders in the military, but then you got to have special bathrooms, special barracks. You got to have special training. What standards do you hold them to? Do you hold transgender men that try to become women or look like women? Do they get held to women's standards or male standards? We've seen like with Leah Thomas in swimming, maybe if it's a man pretending to be a woman, they'll over excel in the woman's category and it'll throw off, skew the standards for the future recruits. And maybe, just maybe, the vice versa, if they're a woman trying to be like a man, they're just not going to have the bone density, the muscle mass to carry a man like me. But honestly, I think we can all agree with each other that, it's about time that people stop caring so much about people's feelings and about what you want for society or how you want to make people feel, and more important about what is actually good for this country.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. We need to stop going ahead and playing along with these games, especially when we're dealing with the military. I mean, the military is our first line of defense anytime our country is being attacked, anytime we have to go abroad. These are the people that we rely on. And I'm very thankful for those who serve in the military. But we can't continue to play along with this this game that we have of changing, genders and going to the whole woke agenda. We need people that we can rely on. I personally believe that anybody who thinks that they're a different gender than what they are, that's a mental disability. That's a mental problem that they're having, and we need to stop playing into it. I know there was a part where they had people applying for different types of surgery in the military, and the military was thinking about covering it during the Biden administration. And then even the campaign ads that Biden was putting out, he was putting out videos where they had transgender as the recruiting video, and the one thing I have to say is other countries, they're laughing at us. There is no threat there to them. They say, okay, they have a bunch of people who can't even figure out their own identity. How are they going to figure out, their way across the battlefield? So I'm glad that we're putting an end to this. This is something that we can't allow to continue. We need to make mental health great again is really what we need to do.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that I don't like, and I this is not a criticism, it's just like a fair understanding. A lot of us try to use, jaded language, I call it, where it's like a she, her commander. And, we're not allowed to use words like tranny, right? YouTube says tranny is now offensive. But it's like, you ask yourself this, who said tranny was offensive?
Yeah.
Right? Because this is a respectable publication, and we're not going to be, we really try not to curse on this show or to use too many vulgar words or whatnot. But like at a certain point, Jim Hoff said the other day, remember it was funny, he was like, it's like the gay orgy czar or whatever of monkeypox. Like, yeah, orgy's a little bit of a vulgar word, but like it's true, right?
Yeah.
This guy had weird fetishes. He was bizarre, and like maybe by just calling them what they are and kind of mirroring a little more of what Jim Hoff kind of exemplified for us, being blunt and open about reality. Maybe we should be like, hey, this is a tranny, person who has mental illness, and we don't want mentally ill people in charge of sensitive things in our country. Now, before we move on here, I want to explain something a little bit important. Make sure that you realize that the American healthcare system is broken. Big Pharma charges an arm and a leg for their products, while insurance companies are focused on growing healthcare spending. So myself, I'm always researching ways to take care of myself naturally. And one of the most overlooked factors is improving your blood flow. That means more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, heart, and muscles, and even places that need a little extra help as you age. Now, I use Blood Flow 7 from Juvenon. It works by boosting nitric oxide levels 230% and opening up arteries up to 62% to improve blood flow. With just one dose a day, it's helped improve my stamina, energy, focus, and support my health, all without caffeine or stimulants. It's doctor-formulated, scientifically backed with premium and natural ingredients. And look, I wouldn't share it if it didn't work. Go to bloodflow7.com/gateway. That's BLOODFLOW, the number 7.com/GATEWAY, or click the link in the description below to learn more today. That's bloodflow7.com/gateway. Find out how to get your heart healthy today. And that being said, breaking OMG Group, which is, we were just with James O'Keefe yesterday at dinner. And James actually texted me this today, like, bam, look at what we're doing. And I'm going to tell you, he's the real deal behind the scenes. That guy's the real deal. We'll talk about him a little bit after the video. But we have an idea that they're going to redact every Republican while leaving all the Democrat people on the Epstein client list. Christina Lila reports that an O'Keefe Media Group on Thursday released an undercover video of a DOJ official admitting that the government will redact every single Republican while leaving the Democrats. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out without really seeing any of their bad behavior. Quite suspicious. We have a video of this investigation, although I will tell you, this is why you got to hold everyone accountable in life. This publication does, in general, support the administration, and we're not trying to, cause disharmony in the Republican Party, but we do have to guess and look and check for corruption because you never know where it is. Watch.
Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal Democratic people in those files.
And they visited that Maxwell person?
Yeah.
And also involved?
Got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender. They're offering her something to keep it on show.
That was the acting deputy chief of the Office of Enforcement Operations, Joseph Schnitt, telling a stranger about the FBI and DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. Schnitt, who works at a high level inside the Department of Justice, goes on to comment on the inconsistent statements, special treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, and the blatant backtracking on promises of transparency.
And what do you do for work again?
I work for the Department of Justice.
Okay.
Been there like 23 years. I'm an analyst. I'll be acting deputy chief of our office for a few months starting next week. I work closely with all the federal law enforcement agencies and the U.S. attorney's offices, the prosecutors and stuff. The thing is, it's interesting because I do deal with so many of the agencies, like the Bureau of Prisons, the Marshal Service, the FBI, U.S. attorney's offices.
Recently, the FBI and DOJ have come under fire for promising transparency, then refusing to release footage and unredacted documents, going directly against the public's expectations and the promises made by Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel. In a DOJ press release, Attorney General Pam Bondi stated, quote, "This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators," unquote, and also claimed they were shedding light on Epstein's extensive network, only to later claim that Epstein was acting alone, and that the only video evidence they had was of Epstein's personal child porn collection.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were.
In the same press release, Kash Patel claimed, quote, "There will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, and no stone left unturned."
So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever.
Only to later claim on Joe Rogan's podcast that releasing any videos would re-victimize those impacted.
We're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it. You want to hate me for it? Fine.
But, internally, there's a lot of, even within the administration, there's internal conflict.
Oh, okay.
Like, the head of FBI really wants it. Second in command at FBI has been, causing problems because he's like, no, these have to be released.
Yeah. So the FBI wants them out.
Yep, the top two guys that do that.
And Bonnie doesn't.
I don't know what Bonnie wants. Bonnie wants whatever Trump wants.
Sure.
Why is there suddenly this internal conflict within the same administration that aggressively campaigned in 2024 to fully release the Epstein files to the American public? What new revelations did the DOJ and FBI make to now say that an incriminating client list does not exist? DOJ analyst Joseph Schnitt comments on these inconsistencies and informs our undercover journalist that even if anything was to be released, it would be heavily redacted in favor of the Republican Party, indicating that this DOJ official, Joseph Schnitt, probably leans Democrat.
Do you think like the stuff with Epstein will actually get released or not at all?
If it does, it'll be heavily redacted, and his name won't be in it.
But those files do exist.
There's files,
Yeah.
for sure. There's, thousands and thousands of pages of files. But again, if they're released in any way, it's going to be very redacted. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files, and have a very slanted version of it come out where it's like, look at what's going on without releasing any of their bad behavior.
This is James O'Keefe. You know me for exposing the truth and holding the powerful accountable. Goal, $1,000.
Security prison too.
Own a piece of it. The conversation then turned towards Ghislaine Maxwell and her highly publicized and unprecedented prison transfer.
I think they visited that Maxwell person
Yeah,
and also involved.
got transferred to a minimum security prison too recently, which is against BOP policy because she's a convicted sex offender, and they're not supposed to get minimum security prisons, which is an interesting detail because she's getting a benefit, which means they're offering her something to keep her on shut.
The difference between a low security prison and a minimum security prison is that minimum security prisons are designed for non-violent offenders with short sentences. They often have no perimeter fencing, and inmates are housed in dormitory-style rooms. We looked into the Bureau of Prisons policies, and Schnitt's claim is in fact correct. Convicted sex offenders are historically ineligible for minimum security facilities. Schnitt is also very credible by virtue of where he works inside the Department of Justice. This raises significant questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell was provided such special treatment at a time where the DOJ and the FBI are under heavy scrutiny for their handling of the Epstein files. The DOJ and FBI have continually promised transparency to the country. Why was the case's most significant witness transferred to a more comfortable prison life, all while Epstein's victims were still not receiving the justice they deserve? Why does it take a random girl in Washington, D.C. for someone like Joseph Schnitt to open up? Why are top DOJ officials spilling all these secrets in restaurants, while the American people are not necessarily afforded the same transparency that they're promised? It doesn't make any sense. What we're looking for is people on the inside of the government to step forward for your private actions to match your public actions, to stand by the truth. And if you know more about this, please email us at tips@o'keefemediagroup.com or text us at 914-491-9395, and we will tell your story without fear and without favor.
You know, from 6 a.m. to lights out, life asks a lot. And if low T signs are holding you back, less power on your list, less patience at work, less spark at home, Man's Edge helps you take control. This multi-ingredient formula supports healthy testosterone and daily vitality, fenugreek, Tongod Ollie, Tribulus, NO2 support for blood flow, and deer antler velvet IGF-1 for recovery, so you feel focused, strong, and confident. Consistency wins. Even if you're on TRT, Man's Edge can complement your regimen by supporting how your body uses testosterone. Join thousands of men taking back their day. Lock in 50% off auto ship at ElijahIGF1.com. That's ELIJAH, IGF, the number 1.com. And use code Elijah for an extra 10% off your first order. Man's Edge, you got to make men men again. And by the way, actually tastes better than I thought. Maybe I'm becoming more of a man. Because I tried it today. I always thought it tasted like a little bit like interesting because it's for men. You know, we're not trying to be, you know, girly and have like little cherry flavor, you know. It's what are you, a wussy? Like we're trying to have something that tastes like deer antler, brother. And actually it started to realize it tastes pretty damn good. But anyway, you should check it out. It'll compliment you in the future. Now, that being said, it's also there that Benny Johnson leaves an unhinged Geraldo Rivera in total stunned silence after asking the most obvious question about illegal aliens. Jim Hoff has the full report. We'll watch the video here. Tell me what you think about this interaction. Absolutely breathtaking display of talent from Benny, man. Check this out.
They're not criminal aliens. Are you saying that they came here legally or illegally? Which is the answer?
The only crime the vast majority of these people have committed is coming here illegally. That's the only crime.
That makes
They're
them
not
a criminal.
Tren de Agua. They're not MS-13. The vast majority of them. They commit fewer crimes than citizens do.
So do you understand respectfully, do you understand the definition of the, do you understand the definition of the word illegal? Because you just said they came here illegally. Do you understand what that means? That means they broke our laws. The laws on the books.
I am absolutely dismayed by the attempts to sow terror in the homes of Latino people. For instance, Puerto Rican people. Puerto Rican people look just like Dominican people, just like Cuban people, just like more or less Venezuelan people. And yet Puerto Rican people are citizens. Puerto Rican people are being harassed by ICE. They're citizens, but they are also Latinos. There is a racial component. There's a racial component.
Puerto Rican people have American passports, Geraldo. What are you talking about?
And so now they carry their. Puerto Rican people have to carry their American passports to show you that they belong here. Do you carry your American passport, Benny? Do you?
I carry an ID everywhere I go. Yes, and a firearm. But like, is your contention that America is deporting Puerto Ricans back to America? Is that the point?
My contention, wise ass.
Can you give me like an example of that, for instance? Because I can give you examples, Geraldo,
wise ass.
White. I can give you examples of white, Chinese, black, and Hispanic people that are all here illegally. And here's my question for you, Geraldo. My question for you is this. What do you mean by they're not criminal aliens? Are you saying that they came here legally or illegally? Which is the answer?
The only crime the vast majority of these people have committed is coming here illegally. That's the only crime.
That makes them a criminal.
They're not Tren de Agua. They're not MS-13. The vast majority of them. They commit fewer crimes than citizens do.
So do you understand respectfully, do you understand the definition of the word illegal? Because you just said they came here illegally. Do you understand what that means? That means they broke our laws. The laws on the books.
So did the jaywalkers.
Is enforcing.
So did the jaywalkers. So did
but I don't understand. You just admitted their crimes, the vast majority of their crimes are they're here illegally. But by saying that, you're saying
in my day, they weren't. First of all, to categorize what they are doing as a crime insults real criminals.
Yeah, in retrospect, though, when we're talking about these interactions, you have to ask yourself, illegal aliens are not criminals because the only crime most of them commit is coming here illegally. Ask Geraldo what the definition of illegal means. 7 seconds of silence. So it's like the problem with these people are they do this. It's like, imagine if someone said, you need to feed 12 children every day. And you go, huh? Well, you already have 2 children. So why not feed 12? Because it's the same thing. You already have children to feed where you live. So why not bring in 10 more? You go, well, because it's expensive, but beyond being expensive, they are not my children. They don't belong in my home. And there's a lot of issues that raise up socially. No one talks about those. It's always like money. It's like identity issues, social cohesion, general trust. And it's like, why are we always confused? And then when people have to defend these people, and I notice there's one thing our societies are good at doing is that they will attack anybody who loves the West and destroy anything that is against the West. Anyway, I'm Elijah Schaffer. Don't forget to join our mug club at thegatewaypundit.com/join. You can get one of these mugs for just a few dollars a month to help us fight the mainstream media as we keep independent media and journalism alive. I'm Elijah Schaffer. Have a great rest of the week. As always, May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.